Well, thank you. I'm still a little salty because Dan's hair looks way better than mine. It's just flat, bleh, whatever. Anyway, I'm sure there is a joke out there somewhere about my white denim pantsuit because I noticed nobody else here is wearing one. I'm starting to get a little bit worried. Oh shit. Okay, here's my teacher. I'm new. They said I was new. You're supposed to move this behind you. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for giving the new comment, Grace. Okay. All right. Anyway, back to my white denim pantsuit and the fact that nobody else is wearing one. It makes me really worried because I think I'm losing my sense of style, for sure. And I know this because I don't get compliments anymore. No, I just get, like confused, concerned lookovers. And even when I fish for the compliments, I get something more like my responses are kind of like, well, as long as you feel good, that's what matters. Okay, that's what matters. All right. And I wore this actually to a family party a few weeks ago, and my daughter, was in her 20s, said to me, "Mom, that looks boxy," and I was like, "Thank you. Finally a compliment," because I thought that was like some urban slang for like slay or fire or something like that, one of those new words. But she was like, "No, Mom, it makes you look like a box. Okay, you look like a box." Well, anyway, boxy rhymes with foxy. That's a term from my era, so I'll take it. Right. Enough about my box. Okay. So I just turned 61. It's not a good thing. I'm not ready. There's no nest egg. I have made some investments in a few companies, that's good, like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, not in their stocks, just in their shitty clothes, okay? I got closets and drawers full of, this. No dividends. No dividends whatsoever, but that's all right. You know what? I do not worry. I am not going to worry about the fact that there is no retirement fund. I learned a hack when I was a child. I don't worry about anything. Because all you need is a rug and a broom. No retirement savings, just that concerning oddly shaped mole on my back, just the college loan I took out for my son's education that he never finished, just what else do I got under there? A couple of bad relationships. Who am I kidding? Many, including the one with my husband. I don't know. No, okay, sorry, Mark. He watches these tapes. I'm so sorry. It's a good relationship. It's just a joke. I'm on, okay. I don't want to get in trouble. All right, I noticed that's what I like to do. I like to sweep everything under the rug. That's what I like to do. That works for me. But other people, they apparently like to air their rugs out. On LinkedIn. You guys know what LinkedIn is? I'm just doing a check here. It's a social media network, a website or whatever for professionals. And I'm a professional. So the other day, I went to go on LinkedIn because all that stuff, I wanted to get away from all that stuff in my life. It's all under the rug, but it's starting to crawl out. So I go, I'm like, LinkedIn. All right, I could just go and look at some resumes, some people bragging about their companies, all the great things they do for their employees, bad business advice, whatever, all that stuff that's on there. And I could just be, the perfect professional PR agency president there, right? In my pink power silk blouse and my buttery blonde bob, you know. And I look like I really have my shit together on there. You know, but now I noticed it's changing. Now there's a bunch of millennials on there being vulnerable. Well, and they're posting things that have nothing to do with their profession. Nothing. You know, like Heather. You know, she's a financial services advisor, okay? And she used to post about financial services. But now, I guess that wasn't getting her enough attention. I don't know. But now she's posting personal videos. Very personal. Hi everyone, it's Heather. I know you're all used to thinking me as like the perfect professional giving out financial services advice, but you know, maybe that was making you feel a little bit uncomfortable and you weren't connecting to it, you know? So now I'm going to tell you something a little bit imperfect about me, so you could relate to it. After having two twin girls, you know, two humans coming out of you at the same time, and a few years later, little Jimmy, you know, who wasn't so little, things aren't the same down there. Okay? Like many of you women, you know, when you were younger, I had a perfect shaped W. Now, I have more like a uppercase U and a lowercase U. It's two separate letters. It's not a W anymore. It's called a lopsided labia, and I have that. It's devastating. Okay, well, I think we've made a connection. So, if you want to talk about professional financial services, you know, or my labia, or yours, just please DM me. Bye, everyone. Oh, God. Poor Heather. If you can believe it, you know, believe it or not, Heather didn't get very much reaction off of that lopsided labia video. No likes, you know, no little green claps, you know, or no light bulbs thinking it was insightful. Nobody thought it was insightful. And now Heather's upset, you know. She's in therapy, which is good because that's where you're supposed to share all that shit, you know. Let's leave LinkedIn alone. Let's please, people, bring it back to the place where I can go and be perfect PR professional Deb, you know, and her power pink blouse and her buttery blonde bob, you know, with a picture taken in 2010. That's my LinkedIn rant. Okay, thank you. Switching gears. Okay, so you know how some people say that they feel like they were born in the wrong body? Well, that's not me. I'm okay. I've accepted this. I was born in the wrong life. Okay? I grew up here in West Rogers Park. Yeah. Average. You know, I grew up in a 3-bedroom ranch, 3 kids, you know, average. I went to NIU in DeKalb. I got a communications degree, you know, average. You know, and then I grew up, and then I grew up, and I married a blue-collar guy named Mark, you know, average. And we had 3 kids and moved into a 3-bedroom ranch, you know, average. You know, in Wheeling, below average. fucking wheeling. But then I got an entry-level job at a growing national PR firm, right? And I worked my ass off there for 27 years, right? Thank you. And the owners, they didn't know what to do with me, so they made me president. Me, average Debbie from West Rogers Park, president. And in this role, I got thrust into this world of way above average people, because all of our clients are successful multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs. And they send me to these events where way above average people gather. And I get there, and I forget that these people have only met me on Zoom, and so the first thing that I see when I get there is like, Deb! Oh my God! On Zoom you have such a big personality, but when I see you in person, you're just so little. You're just so and then I go to talk to these people to catch them up, in my life, because dumb me thinks that we're tight, we're buds, And I'm like, Dan, hi, oh my God, hi, yeah, my oldest, she just got a new job, and is there something going on? Oh, you must be busy. All right, my middle one, the one with the gaming addiction, he just came out of his room on Saturday. Okay, all right. All right, I'll see you later. Bye. Yeah. All right, and that's just like a regular conference. That's just a regular convention. Once a year, they send me to this elite networking event for billionaires at a posh ski resort. Me. I get there and I gotta get the equipment, and then I gotta put it on. And then I find myself in a gondola sitting between two larger than life billionaires talking about their next acquisition. And then I my feet don't even reach the ground. They don't even reach the ground. And I look down and I notice that I have a TJ Maxx clearance sticker in the bottom of my So yeah, they start talking, and it's just like, hey Bob, I'm watching the market, and I think I'm going to sell my $2 billion restaurant chain, because I think I'm going to get myself some med spas. I'm going to acquire some med spas. Yeah, Joe, I was way ahead of you on that one. I thought I already did that, Bought 700 of them. Then they noticed me, and I said, how about you, Deb? You doing any deals? And oh, me? Well, so I used to buy the 30-pack of paper plates at Costco, and, but then I realized, that wasn't financially sound. So I started buying the 300-pack. I'm saving a lot of money. I ran the numbers. My husband, he's really pleased with that. So then I get out of it. It's done, Now I get out of the gondola, and now I gotta ski. But I'm all alone. Because who wants to do deals on the bunny hill? All right, thank you, everybody. That's my time.